Hello and welcome to Learning Arduino for Beginners, episode number 35, Keypads and the Password Library. Now there are many uses for the keypad, like calculators, if you wanted to build an Arduino calculator, just inputting values to control something, but a very common use for the keypad with the Arduino is for a password like a door lock. Something, when you put the correct password in, something will happen. So that's what we're going to go over today. In later episodes down the line, we'll probably eventually do the calculator. There are lots of videos on that, but someday I might go ahead and do my own version of it. But for today, we're going to take a look at using the keypad with the password library to, well, I've got an RGB LED that'll change colors depending if it's the right password or wrong password. And then it'll activate this relay, which you would have connected to like a solenoid to open a door when the proper password's put in. Or you could also use a servo. I've seen people use those. The solenoid door locks, it's a little bit better, and they're actually not that expensive. For under $10, you can get a fairly decent one. It would be adequate for an indoor lock. I don't think I'd use it for the exterior lock of your house. I wouldn't actually recommend using the Arduino setup with the keypad for protecting your house from intrusion. This is more for like keeping kids out of a closet, or maybe you just want to do need to do a project for school or something. But all right, what we're going to do first is I'm going to demonstrate it working, and we'll go over the parts really quick and how it's set up, and then we'll go over to the computer and take a look at the sketch. There's not a whole lot on there to go over on the sketch, but there's a few things like how do you change the password, because the password is done in the sketch. And all right, well, let's just get right into it then. Well, I have this set up with the password of 123A. Now I'm using this keypad here. This is one of the most common ones you'll find on eBay and Amazon. I do believe it's very common on there as well, but on eBay this is extremely common and easy to find. But there are other ones that don't have the letters. There's some that only have just the numbers. And when we get over to the sketch, I'll show you that library for the keypad will work with many different types of keypads. But this one here, for this tutorial, we're using this keypad. And all right, the password, like I said, is 123A, so I'll put it in 123A, and then we hit star. The relay clicked on and the RGB LED turned green, and I have it set, I do believe, for 2 seconds. And that's enough time to pull and open the door and then let it go off. Now, let's say you put in the wrong password. So we go 470B. Hit that. Oh, it turns red to tell you, oh, that's the wrong password. And when we're hitting the star, what that is, that's like hitting the enter key. This doesn't have an enter key, so we just define the star key as the enter key for this. Now, otherwise, you see it's blue, and this is an RGB, red, blue, green. Blue just means it's powered on, it's working, it's waiting for a code. So let's say you go and start putting the code, oh, it's the wrong code. Well, you can just hit the pound sign here. And yes, if you're a younger person, that's not the pound sign, that's hashtag. Well, excuse me, back in the old days, I'm in my 40s, yes, this is the pound sign, that's what we always called it. But yeah, some of you might call it the hashtag, but whatever. You push this and it'll reset it, and then you can put your password in and hit that. So if you go like put the wrong number in, instead of having to push this and say no, you can just hit that and then put the correct password in, and bang. All right, so like I said, we have a relay here, and the relay and the green on the RGB are on the same pin, so it's activating the relay and the green for the RGB. Then we're using two other pins. Let's see, we're using 11, 12, and 13 to activate this. I do believe 11 is the blue. 12, I think, is the red, and 13 the green. I mean, when we get over to the sketch, I have it on there. I think that's how it is. And I'm powering this just for convenience, for doing the video by battery. I would not recommend using batteries because if the battery goes dead, you're not going to be able to get in. I would be using, you know, like a wall wart, house power, or if this is outside, use solar or something like that. But yeah, be careful. If you run this on batteries and they go dead, you're going to be locked out. Like I said, I'm just using a battery pack for convenience for doing this tutorial. That's the only reason I'm using that. Now also remember, with the RGB, you don't want the full 5 volts going to it or it'll burn it out. I'm using a larger RGB, so I'm using a 220 ohm resistor. If you're using a smaller, they make some that are about half the diameter of these, and those you want to use about a 330 or slightly larger. You could actually use a 330 with this. It's not a whole lot dimmer. It might even make it last longer, but a 220 ohm with your standard RGB is going to be fine. Now, as the keypad for connecting it, we're using digital pin 2 through 9. And you see here the side with the D right here, that goes to 2, and then it just goes all the way along to pin 9. And I'm using a Nano. You could use this with an Uno. I'm using a Nano because I made this little adapter, because normally, pull it off here, you'd have to stick your jumpers in there and stick them in. What I did is I had some angled connectors. Oh, I'm forgetting the name of them. Header pins. Oh, man, I can't believe I couldn't think of that there. I had some angled header pins and some standard. Now, one side's shorter and the other side's longer. The longer side's what plugs into like the keypad, and the long side plugs into the solderless breadboard. So what I did is just took the angled one and then a set of standard and soldered them together and made a little adapter. Now, if you were using an Uno or a Mega or something like that, you're going to need to run jumper wires because there is a gap between the pins. I'd have to grab one, I forget. I think it's after like pin 8 or 7 or something like that. It's a gap, or 6. I'd have to look. I do normally use Nanos for my projects, but for a lot of the tutorials I do use the Unos because it's very common. But for this tutorial, the Nano worked out to be the best. And they're nice and compact and convenient, because if you're building this, you know, for like a closet door, so you know you got a little toddler and you don't want them getting in there, and you could just have this keypad where you put in your 123A password, and you can change the password too. We'll get to that when we get to the sketch, but then they're not getting into the closet, and you know they're not going to know what the password is. And you could also put this up out of their reach, and this would work perfect for that. And just use a solenoid lock, you know, then your kids ain't getting into the closet or whatnot. But all right, how to wire this up? I think I went over, you know, enough you should understand. But if you go to the website and look in the description below, go to the website, and you'll find a link in the description below to the website. You go there, and you'll find the schematic for this, how to hook it up. You'll also find the sketch that we're going to be going over here in just a moment, and you'll find a parts list and anything else I can think of to put on there. So all right, I think we've went on long enough and just checking this out. Let's get over to the computer and take a look at the sketch, and I'll show you how you can change the password, and then also how you can change what happens when the correct or incorrect password is put in. And that's options we have. You know, incorrect password could set off an alarm instead of just turning this red. A correct password, and you could have this, I mean, pretty much do anything you want. You know, activate a servo. You could have it turn a stepper motor a certain amount of steps, whatever. So, all right, I'm going to fire up the computer, get over there, bring up the sketch. We'll take a look at that, so I'll catch you there in just a moment. All right, I got the Arduino IDE opened up here and the sketch loaded up. So let's just get right into it. So the first thing we're doing is we're defining right here pin 11, 12, and 13. And we're just setting the red. That's on pin 13. That's the RGB LED. If you put the wrong password in, it'll turn red. And we got the blue, and that's just to shows that it's activated, powered on. And then the green, which is 12, and we got that set as lock, because that'll activate the relay or whatever you want to happen. Now you can change these names. Just make sure you change them down here, like in the pin mode and stuff. But all right, next we got two libraries. We got the password.h. Now for some reason, the Arduino, when you go through the tools here, you can get your the libraries you need. That one's not there, so go and check out the website. Will have a link on there to where to get this, and it is safe. Trust me, it is safe. Just for some reason, it's not incorporated into the Arduino website yet. But for the keypad.h, what you do is just click on Sketch, include library, manage libraries. This is going to take just a moment to bring up. Hopefully not too long. Come on. All right, it's going pretty quick. There we go. And just type in keypad, keypad. And the one you want is this one right here. It says keypad by Mark. I'm guessing that's pronounced Stanley. And you want the version 3.11, or the newer version will probably work. This is the library you want right here. If you use any of these others, this tutorial is not going to work for you. I mean, there are other keypad libraries, but from what my experience and what I tried, this is a very good one, and it works, and it allows you to use a variety of different keypads as well. So, all right, that's how you get that. Now, I already have it installed, so I don't need to install it. Then, like I said, the password.h, just go to the website, and you'll find a link in the description below. And I'll have a link to get that. And it's actually off an Arduino page. Just for some reason, it's on the Arduino playground, if I remember right. It's just for some reason, it's not incorporated into the Arduino IDE for the downloading library yet. Don't know why, but it's not. All right, moving on. This right here is where we set our password. Now, any of the keys you got, and down here, this is where you define what the keys are, the order they look on the pad. So if you got a slightly different pad, you can change it. But what we're doing here, and you can only use, I mean, you don't have an E, so you can't use an E here. So it's 1 through 9 and 0. And the pound and the star key, don't use that in your password. It will mess things up, because the star is to check it, and the pound key is to reset it. Actually, the star key is to activate, see if you put the right password in, sorry. But right here, whatever password you put here, and it can be more than 4 characters. It can even be less. I just went with 4. You could go 1, 2, 3, you go 2, 4, 6. You go 1, 5, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 9, 0, A, B, 4, 6, 9, 8, 7. And it should still work. Good luck remembering that. I do believe it will work with that big a one. I don't think I do believe there is eventually you can put too many in, but I'm pretty sure you can go up to probably 10 characters without a problem. I'm sure you can go even further than that. Actually, you know what? If you build this and play around with it, try that out and leave a comment. Leave a comment. Is there a maximum number of characters you can put in and it glitches out and doesn't work? I would be interested to know, and I'll leave that up to you. I'm not going to go and try it. I'll leave that up to the viewers. Check it out. Now this stuff here, you don't want to change unless you're using a different keypad. So we got 4 rows, 4 columns. Now if you are using a different keypad, there actually is a tutorial on how to do this. And I'm not going to go through it because it would add like 15 minutes to this video. And it covers all this stuff here. So if you're not using the same keypad I am, you can still use this. Just do a search for how to use the keypad in the password. Actually, no, it wouldn't be it's the keypad.h library and how to configure it. There are videos on how to do this. All right, moving on. Don't change any of this unless you're changing the names, but leave them all as outputs. Don't change this. Don't change this. Don't change this. Don't change pretty much none of this. What you want to do is go down until you get where this is the first here in the void check password. This is where when you push the star key, it's checking. If the password is correct, this is what you put in here that you want it to do, and then make sure you have the password reset at the end. What that does is it resets it, so you have to put the password in again to do it. And what I'm doing is I'm just digitally writing the blue to low, so the blue goes out, and then we're turning the green on, which is also activating the relay, because the relay and the green pin on the RGB LED, they're connected together. It's one and the same. But then we have an else statement. If it evaluates and it's not correct, then it's rating the blue low, turning the blue off, and then doing the red high. And then we're doing 2 seconds, and then turning the red off and the blue back on. And right here we got 2 seconds too. Now if you want the door lock to be activated more than 2 seconds, change this. Whatever number you want. I mean, if you want it 10 seconds, just take that 2 and put a 10 in there. Same here for the red light, whatever you want on. That's it. You don't want to change anything else in here. And you can go ahead and add lots of other stuff in here. Once you're really comfortable with Arduino and you played with it a while, you can take several sketches and combine them together real easily and make some awesome things happen. I've got some really complicated things that I built for my personal use that I haven't even done videos on yet. I guess the most complicated one I've done a video on so far is my photo gate for photography, and that uses Android input. It has outputs to show the triggering levels, and it's a pretty complicated project, and it took me about a month to go through and put that one together. But all right, this project though, it's pretty simple. I wouldn't say absolute beginners. I'd say this is a good project for an intermediate beginner. If you've been following along with this series, I think we're out of the absolute beginners now, and you're at the intermediate, maybe getting close to the advanced beginners, and getting ready to start doing some more complicated stuff. And we are going to start looking at some more interesting stuff here in future episodes. So, all right, I think I've spent enough of your time. I would like to thank you for joining us here at the Z Hut today. If you found this information useful, please give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Remember to subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. I upload as often as I can. I do some other ones that are on this channel. Don't freak out if not every video is about Arduino. I'm also doing some videos about SDR radios. Once in a while I do cooking stuff in a rice cooker, because, well, there's some interesting stuff you can cook in a rice cooker that most people wouldn't have thought of. And then a few repair videos. But yeah, I like my electronic stuff, and I do a lot of that as well. So all right, well, like I said, thanks for joining us here today. Have a great day, and remember, have fun building.